Hello and welcome to this Nimbus podcast. My name is Mike Gammage and I'm delighted to be joined today by Susie West, founder and CEO of sharedserviceslink.com, which is a community for leaders in finance shared services based in London.
Hello, Mike.
We're going to be talking today about what's happening in shared services and in particular the challenges in finance transformation programs. But let's start, if we may, Susie, with a snapshot of sharedserviceslink.com.
Okay, so sharedserviceslink.com is a business community servicing the finance and accounting shared services market. And we service them by providing best practice information, which is 9 times out of 10, it will be end user based and end user generated. And we extend that information to the market via conferences, webinars, masterclasses, and via our website to help the market and shared services organisations within the market improve performance.
You're based in London. Have you got just a UK focus?
No, we don't. We are based in London, that's right, but our conferences are very much pan-European and our webinars, they are very much global in their appeal.
And how many of clients of yours have finance transformation programs running and where would shared services fit within that typically?
Most of our customers do shared services, but they're either at the kind of the early stage adoption or they're at the kind of much more mature stage. They've been doing shared services for maybe 10 or 15 years and they're very much in the throes of continuous improvement, and they most probably have outsourcing as part of their shared services mix. I would say 9 out of 10 of our customers actually are doing shared services. The other kind of 10% are evaluating it as an option for them. But on the whole, the majority of our customers, they have the scale of business, i.e. for example, they have high volumes of invoices that they process and they have maybe 3,000 to 300,000 employees. That puts them in the sweet spot to be successful for a shared services implementation.
And what are the sort of challenges that they face in doing this and how are those likely to change?
Okay, so in terms of the challenges that they face at the moment, I think on the whole, shared services, you probably are very familiar with, is a massive change management project, and it will affect many parts of the organisation. And we're not just talking people here, we're also obviously talking infrastructure, we're talking IT, and we're obviously talking massively around process as well. So there's huge communications behind it that needs to be very strong to make sure that the outcome is as successful as it can be. And that's the number one challenge. It's really getting senior level buy-in and being able to identify who your sponsors are actually, and then managing to sell the idea of shared services to those sponsors, and then locking in their buy-in and making sure that they will support you every single step of the way. But also the challenge is to identify your stakeholders and make sure that you communicate with each group of stakeholder in a very effective way, and it will be different stakeholder group to stakeholder group.
At Nimbus, we have this vision of end-to-end processes being the framework for effective collaboration across multiple stakeholders. I mean, how important in your discussions with your clients and so on is this process perspective?
Mike, it's massively important. Shared services more and more is an enabler to help the purchase to pay process be much effective and run much more efficiently. And there's this general recognition that purchase to pay is such a massive component within an organisation, and it's looked at so seriously because more than anything it determines a cost base, and there are many points within a purchase to pay process at which a control gateway needs to exist, and if it doesn't exist then you're exposing yourself up into to all kinds of issues. Now organisations are realising that a process needs to be treated as an end-to-end journey. Procurement and accounts payable shouldn't operate as silos, they should operate as one kind of entirety. And this is helping a lot of shared services organisations perform better. You'll be aware of the Hackett Group, and in their research they're noticing that over 50% of world-class organisations recognise the importance of treating end-to-end processes as that and having actual end-to-end process owners.
I know some of your clients are using Nimbus Control already. Is there a sort of is there a need for a process platform for collaboration? Is that something that's on the radar?
Absolutely. I think it's interesting that you note that some of our clients are using Nimbus actually, and I can immediately think of half a dozen that are using Nimbus, and these are all kind of heavyweight organisations. With shared services, you've got a big focus on standardising a process, and you don't want people to deviate from what that process is. So you'll speak to, for example, Oracle, and they only have one acceptable process. And as far as they're concerned, if they don't already have it, they'll need everybody that touches that process and is involved somehow in that purchase to pay process to have visibility of what the correct process is, and make sure that all the control mechanisms are set up throughout that process to police that process. So because shared services is so process oriented and will remain to be, however far up the value chain it continues to go, the nuts and bolts of what shared services is about is at the kind of the root level. It's all about how good your process is. And so absolutely a solution like Nimbus Control Solution is absolutely needed in every shared services centre.
Wonderful endorsement there. Thanks very much, Susie, for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you very much.